Karine, when you're standing there at the lectern, you are White House Press Secretary speaking on behalf of the President, conveying his thoughts and views of the administration. And it's for that reason that you said on his behalf all those times that he had no plans to do what he did on Sunday. Has he expressed any regret to you directly, personally, for having put you in this position and now having to go back?
Look, I understand this question, and you started off, I think the way you started off the question is basically how I feel, right? And I think all of us who work in this administration, I work for the president, I speak for the president, I comment on behalf of what he feels and thinks, and that's my job. That's my job as the press secretary, the White House press secretary, the person who speaks on behalf of the President of the United States, and that's how I feel. I feel like it's my...
Did he apologize to you?
Look, there's no apology needed, maybe, to answer that question. No apology needed. What I will say is, this is a president. You've heard me talk about the legal experts, what they have said, how they agreed with the president in taking this action. You've heard me say that over and over again. I've laid out quotes from different U.S. attorneys, prosecutors, who really laid out how the underlying factors of Hunter's case would not lead to what had occurred in the past several months. And I will also say this, and you heard this president say this many times before, he believes when it comes to his family, when it comes to how he moves forward about thinking about his family, they're the beginning, the middle, and the end. And he wrestled with this. It was not an easy thing for him to decide. There's a reason why I keep bringing up Congressman Jim Clyburn, is because this is someone who spoke to the president just 2 weeks ago and encouraged him to do so, to pardon his son. And at the time, the congressman said 2 weeks ago that this president was reticent. So obviously he wrestled with this. So no apology needed from him to me.
One of the other things he often says is that voters should trust his, quote, word as a Biden.
Yeah.
Should they still?
Yes, the president.
This was a pretty big, defiant public pronouncement by him that he wasn't going to do this anymore.
I hear you, and I understand. But the president wrestled with this. He truly did. And, you know, I called out the U.S. Gov poll where 64% of Americans, that's not a small number, agree with the president's decision to pardon his son. And I think that gives you a little bit of a tiny window of where the American people are on this.
He sidestepped a judge and a jury's decisions on the cases involving his son. He criticized the political nature of the prosecution. The next president has spent the last several years vowing to upend the Justice Department and the FBI. Looking at their current and future presidents, why should any American continue to have confidence in the American justice system?
Well, the president does have confidence in the American justice system, and he said that in his statement. Certainly continues to have confidence in the Department of Justice.
Leaders who single out incidents that involve them or their families and say, well, that's not fair to me, but the rest of you should agree with it.
Can I just be very blunt here? The situation with Hunter Biden and what the incoming president has said are very different.
But they're making similar arguments, which is that they've been unfairly prosecuted because of who they are.
But I don't think those two things are the same. I just don't. They're not the same. They're just not. And I think the American people understand that. I do think they believe and understand that they're not the same. What the president's son had to go through, and what we've heard from legal experts, former U.S. attorneys general, who look at this case, who understand this case, and have said this would not there would not be this situation. And I think that's important to note as well. And they've been very clear about this. We've heard from many of them, legal experts, former U.S. attorneys from across the country, again, have all agreed virtually no one would be criminally prosecuted with felony offenses with these facts. I talked about these facts as it relates to the gun charges and tax cases that obviously Hunter Biden's case. And so that is, you can take their word for it. You can take their word for it. Okay.